So I'm working on this tune, At Once Always, by Swedish piano player Lars Jansson. That's how you say his name, Lars Jansson. So we're gonna learn this tune. It's always nice to add new tunes to your repertoire. It's kind of a modern tune. It's not a jazz standard. It's a contemporary jazz tune. And there are some things I want to talk about because I had to play this at an event yesterday, and there were some issues for me when I tried to solo. It didn't work. The stuff I thought was gonna work didn't really work. And I had this discussion just my previous video. There is a chat with Lars Jansson that some of you might have watched, and we talk about this very thing, that sometimes it's not enough with just a scale that goes with a chord symbol. You have to dig a little bit deeper, and this is where knowing theory comes in. So if you know theory, you can solve issues, when you're learning a tune. So it's a little bit how I prepare for playing this tune. So let's get started. Let's just play along with the muse score here, and we'll learn it too. I actually find it very useful to enter the notes, the music, into some kind of software. I use MuseScore when learning a tune, because then I learn the tune and I sit with my guitar and enter the notes at the same time and playing it. So it actually helps me learning the tunes. As guitarists, we often have to play the melody an octave higher, right? So let's play the melody an octave higher, and I'm gonna use my iReal Pro here. It's supposed to be a little bit faster, I think, but we're practicing now. That little thing at the end is just something that happens at the very end of the tune. So it's like an outro, and you can have like even a drum solo and loop that thing. it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of an interesting outro that brings a whole new kind of character to the tune. Okay, so now let's talk about how you solo. The issue here is the first 4 bars, or the first 2 chords. The rest is pretty straightforward. It's kind of, you know, ECM style, Bill Evans type harmonies. But if I loop those first 2 chords, A flat major 7, flat 5. So this is from a book of Lars Jansson's compositions that is probably impossible to find. And the chord symbol says A flat major 7, flat 5 over C. To C major 7. Normally, I would think that it's modal interchange, so that it's A flat Lydian to C major, C Ionian. You see this chord progression quite a lot in jazz, and usually that's what it is. If I play A flat major 7, it would definitely be that. But here we're actually not playing this E flat, because we're playing flat 5. So if I play A flat Lydian, going to C Ionian, I can do that, or I can think C Aeolian, which is the same thing as A flat Lydian, right? So either I think A flat Lydian, C major, or I think C Aeolian to C major. That's what I would normally do when I see it. It would sound like this. So it's like minor going to major, right? It sounds good, I guess, but when we rehearsed it, it didn't sound good. It just sounded wrong, and I didn't know why. So I had to go back to the drawing board and look at this some more. So that's like an F minor 6 over C. But if I play the chord symbol, there's supposed to be a G there, right? So it's A flat major 7, flat 5. So there is a difference between a sharp 11 chord. If it says A flat major 7 sharp 11, that means that the 5th, which is E flat, could be in there somewhere. Could be something like this. But it doesn't say that. And this is what we're talking about. Like, it doesn't have to be that scale, because that could be, we don't know if it's supposed to be in E flat or an E natural. There are other scales than Lydian you can play over that chord. So I tried to play C harmonic major, and that sounded so much better. It sounds like this. So I'm playing E natural. Then the 2 chords are more connected, closer. I can even play that over both the chords. So C harmonic major. As opposed to it's because that E natural doesn't clash with this chord unless the piano player or somebody is playing a flat major 7 there, right? So as a comping instrument you have to be really careful, maybe so that it opens up the harmony, right? So you have this option. So if I'm playing C harmonic major, I don't even know what that scale would be from the A flat. And I guess it would be some kind of Lydian sharp 5 with a sharp 2. It's not really that interesting to me, actually. I just need to know that it works. Then of course you can mix in the other scale too, but that scale works better, I think. And then it's interesting, the next phrase that's a diminished arpeggio, and then you can find the diminished arpeggio in harmonic major, but we tend to think we see diminished. Oh, it's the diminished scale or harmonic minor, but it's also found in harmonic major. That note is also found in the Barry-Harris system, right? So the next interesting thing that happens here is this. So it says C major 7 in the chart, but the melody goes like so that is a leading note that resolves, meaning if I play a C major 7 chord and the melody is going, that's gonna clash. So it's very important to understand when a note is a chord tone, a leading tone, or an extension. Here it's a leading tone, which means that it's probably better to play a triad, and then the bass drops to a B. So it's like the melody is going up and the bass is going down. Contrary motion. These little sophisticated things is what you want to pay attention to when you're learning a tune. So I'm gonna play triads. I'm gonna play so that's maybe a little bit unsatisfying. Maybe I'll do this. I'll put G on the bass and play an open triad, because I like that sound. Even do this. Let's try that. So I'm playing an open F minor triad there. I think that works. Here it comes again. Here's the next interesting thing. The next chord, A minor to D7 to F over G to E over G. see that quite a lot. People do that. So you create more tension before you go back, right? So we tend to think of that chord as a diminished sound. So it might be this. It's an E triad in second inversion over a G7. So 13 flat 9. The theory book tells you to play half whole. But we're actually not playing the F in this voicing either. But that of course gonna sound good. But since we're using harmonic major in this tune, we can play harmonic major, C harmonic major there as well. Because that G sharp in the E chord is also an A flat, right? So if I start that from G, that would be a Mixolydian flat 9 scale. So the, what is it, the fifth mode of harmonic major is Mixo flat 9, an overlooked scale. So we don't have to play half whole. Half whole is actually not necessarily the first choice because that's kind of a complicated sound. So we're gonna play the same scale there. So actually I could probably play that scale more or less over the whole first half of the tune. Well, no, there's some 2/5s there. But I'm gonna use that scale over the A flat chords and the C. You could use it even on the A minor and this chord. Then I have to consider the 2/5s there. D minor, E. So harmonic major. There and here. Here are some 2/5s. Trans minor. Yeah. Here we're in E major. So it's an even 8. That's the jazz even 8s setting in iReal Pro. Kind of like ECM type drumming. So it's not really Latin, right? But there's a somewhat of a Latin flavor in this tune because you have all this. But if I play this as a boss or something, it would sound kind of silly. So there's a, I guess you call it even 8, jazz. So to summarize, when you're practicing this tune, you have an option. You could treat that as modal interchange. Or use harmonic major. I suggest you try both, and you can use harmonic major even on the E over G instead of what you normally, I guess, would think of as half whole. Simplify. There are other tunes with a similar, like Night and Day, right? So it also A flat major 7 to C major. So then you can take that and use that over that tune. And that's also something we talked about in that chat with Noel Johnston, that when you work on this stuff and then you go back to your standards that you, of course, always are working on, you can like, oh yeah, I can use this stuff over this standard and I now have more options. I had a teacher who always said that. What are our options? You want to have more options when you're trying to figure out what to play over these changes. So that was At Once Always. Now you have another tune to add to your repertoire. Bring it to a gig. Enjoy. PDFs on my Patreon page. So I want to thank you for your time and attention. I shall see you next time.